Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we're coming off a race that was disappointing to me, but it was a great learning experience. As I mentioned in the last video about the rain and when it dries out and making a pit stop and the delta time and all that kind of stuff, we were on the wrong end of that in this last race, or at least with car number one, we were. So you live and you learn. We're going to move on. Now, at this point, we're down to enough money for one more race. And again, as I've said in previous videos, I kind of did that on purpose. I didn't calculate it out ahead of time. No, I didn't pull out the spreadsheet. I didn't do any calculations to see how long our money would last. But I did want to push it to the edge and try to get a little bit more out of the car early on with drivers and some upgraded parts, which for us was the brakes. But you can see we're still way off the pace of the other team. So we're having to take some chances and try to get basically out of last place or the last few positions at least. So we'll go ahead and start out our video here. Hopefully we are going to get some sponsorship money to keep going, but as always, we'll find out. Okay, let's breeze through most of this. Again, we're right around that 50% number for the most part on the car after a race. Let's see. So, yeah, dominated or demolished the competition last race, crossing the line with a huge gap. So that has to do with working some great strategy and also, I'm sure, quite a bit of speed. So do you think we're becoming too predictable in the B class? And all right, there we go. It's a fantastic display of engineering excellence, which I think it is. You make the right calls and you have good cars and drivers and all that kind of thing, and it really helps out. That's what racing is all about. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward a few days at least. Yeah, there we go. Because we need to get that car repair done. And so what I want to do now is, we're doing great here. We can see that that's not maxed out. We'll come back to that maybe if we have enough time. But I want to start working on the front nose and then the rear wing. And I think with 30 days to do this, I think we're going to be fine to get both of these well up above 90. You can see there it says it's going to be at 100 13 days before the race. So basically half of the time we have available. Okay, let's see what we got. I noticed an email pop up. Oh, we're taking acting lessons. So everybody's getting into acting and singing now. So, very interesting. All right, so I'm watching the days because I want to make sure we get both of these parts in there. You can see reliability work is going to be done, although I don't really care that it gets to 100%. We don't need it quite that high. Yeah, we're at 98 right now, so a couple more days isn't going to really help us out. Gearbox I'd like to get to. Rear wing I want to make sure we get to. As far as that goes, you can see suspension. As long as we get somewhere around 90% roughly, I think we're going to be okay. Okay, the parts that are marked crucial are the ones that will take the most wear in that race. So that's why we get some races where the rear wing or the front wing will actually be more of an issue than others. Oh, we got an expose. Let's see what this is about. Okay, modeling tryout. Yes, we know everybody's into modeling and singing. All right, so the expose, let's see what we've got. Oh boy, awful working practices. We had testimonials from their mechanics saying that they're overworked, understaffed, and tons of debt. Gotcha. Would you be willing to let us interview your mechanics? They might have a few things to say about your own drivers, but it'll bring... Let's see, I'm not interested in bringing them down. That just doesn't... bringing down the competition's marketability for another team, I'm just not into that. No, thank you. All right, let's come back in, see how our car is doing. Okay, 83 so far. So not... Again, you have to remember, we don't have the best staff, so we're not getting these increases quite as quickly as we will later on with better folks. There we go, 91%. We've only got 3 days left. But let's go ahead and work on, yeah, let's just go ahead and throw the suspension back in there. Okay, let's see what our email's about. Okay, reminder that we're in 6th place, target of 6th place. Yep, got it. All right, again, not going to look at this. I like to be surprised by all these things. All right, any word, oh well, any chance you could have a word with Scarlett about getting some new brakes for the car? Yikes. Well, of course we're lagging behind the competition, but brakes isn't what I'd be worried about right now. I'd be worried about everything else that is severely lagging behind the competition. All right, so let's see, sponsorship. We haven't gotten any additional offers. Let's just go ahead and take what we've got. We'll take the 100,000, as bad as that is, but this isn't really going to matter. I was giving it some time, but didn't really pan out. You can see this will be our final race with this sponsor. So again, we'll be looking for some money to keep going. We have $2 million, which is enough for one more race, and then we'll see where it goes from there. All right. So let's prepare for the race. Once again, we've got no reason really not to choose this. We need this for the money side of things. And tire selection, let's see what it would have us do. Okay, so the fuel burn is very low, tire wear is very high. Okay, which would explain why the softest tire is actually the soft tire rather than super softs or ultras. All right, actually, I'll tell you what, we may mix this up. Again, I've got a few ideas on some strategies I want to try, but really haven't had an opportunity to try all of them that I want to try. So we'll see if we get an opportunity to do that in this race, because it's time to head to Phoenix. All right, it is race time here at Phoenix. So let's take a look at our knowledge bonuses, and you can see we've got race trim, level 3 bonuses for both cars. Then we got a hard tire bonus. I'm going to switch things up a little bit on our strategy and just try something new here. So we got a hard tire bonus, level 3 for car 1, and then a better tire wear bonus for the soft tires on car number 2. So that means we're splitting up the strategy again. We're going to try some different things here. And as far as our setups go, again, we're using the hard tire, and this tire, it says, should last somewhere 57 to 60 laps roughly. Now that would be a very long time, and I'm thinking that we might be able to get 2 stints. We might be able to double stint these tires, save ourselves a little time on the pit stop. Again, we'll see how it goes. We are full of fuel, so we're good there. Other car, let's take a look at the tire choice. So we got a little bit better tire wear here, and we're hoping that this really works out, because it says only 30 to 32 minutes that it's going to last. I'm hoping it's going to last quite a bit longer than that because of our chassis tire wear benefit, as well as the benefit that we got from our knowledge bonus. So again, I'm hoping it will last somewhere around 45 minutes. If it does, then this will be a great deal for us. If it doesn't, well, we're in trouble. So fuel is, once again, it's going to be full, because I don't know how long these tires are going to last, and I do not want to limit us based on our fuel, even though it slows us down a little bit when we have the full fuel load. So there are our bonuses. Let's go ahead and get this race started. All right, you can see a lot of other teams, especially up front, are on the hard tire. Now, you also notice that team number 1 is starting up front, or closer to up front than we're used to. And that should be a big help to us. We're on the same tires as these guys. Unfortunately, we're not going to have the same speed as these guys, but this is going to give us an opportunity to show what we've got and just see if we've got any type of speed for the front of the pack. Now again, if we're able to double stint these tires, that's really going to help us out. But tire heat is going to be an issue, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we're starting out, and already we've lost all of our positions. You can see, I mean, that's why I put so little stock in qualifying. We've already dropped back to 21st. So Oh, we got a driver mistake. That is not good because we are not even pushing. All right, let's see how the tire heat thing goes. Looks like we're not getting any heat to the tire right now. Let's go ahead and push a little bit, see if we can get a little heat in the tire. And if we can get a little heat in the tire, maybe we can keep it in there. Okay, we're coming up. Now we're coming up to temperature. Let's go back down to neutral. We're way too high over here on car 2. I don't think we're going to have to worry about too much weather. It generally doesn't rain too much in the desert, so hopefully we won't have to worry about that. Okay, so my hope would be that we can keep our temperature right here around that midline for the entire race, and we'll see how long these tires will last. Okay, we got a driver mistake. That shouldn't be the end of the world. I'm a little concerned here that we're not able. Okay, we're actually, temperature is definitely holding steady, if not running a bit warmer than I would have expected. Okay, because you can see over here on car 2 that even though we're in the green here, that is not dropping below that midline for our temps. Okay, so I'm going to have to bring that down a little bit more. Let's see if this does any good for the hard tire. Alright, so now the speed really shows up. You can see we are the last car on the hard tire. And not only that, but we have lost quite a few seconds to the leader since the beginning of the race. Okay, you can see it's now dropping down below that midline. Okay, so again, we're trying to double stint these tires if it's doable. I'm not sure it's going to be doable based on what I'm seeing, but the good news is you can run the hard tires right down and use, or at least you used to use all of the wear available without having to worry about falling off a cliff with lap times. We're going to see if that comes to fruition. If it does, then we might have a shot at double stinting. If not, then no good for us. All right, so we're not making up the speed that I had hoped we would on the soft tires in car number 2. So that's definitely not working out for us. I was hoping that the softer tire would, and in fact, a good deal softer than what most of the field is using. I was hoping that that would help us out. But unfortunately, that does not seem like it has really helped us any at all. Okay, we've only got the one driver that's behind us, and that's because they already had to make a pit stop, probably for some sort of an accident or something. All right, I can see the tire is wearing. We're down to 55%. That's not good for us. Not if we're looking at double stinting. All right, so we're going to run this thing as long as we can. Again, fuel is winding down, but we're going to have to pit here momentarily with car number 1 because we are low on tire. So we're going to get about 45 minutes, not quite that, maybe on car number 2 for our first stint. Let's go ahead and queue up our first pit stop, and tire choice is going to be the soft tires again. And we're going to stick with that strategy. So 26 to 28 laps. Let's go ahead. We don't have near the stamina for this driver, so let's go ahead and let's do a little bit more there. Okay, and let's queue up that pit stop. Okay, so we're off and running there. So we moved up a couple of spots with some pit stops that have started to happen. All right, let's see if we can leave this on neutral, at least for right now. All right, so we need to back off. You can see the tire temps coming way up, and the grip on the track is coming way up. So now, all right, being in the green is bringing our tire temps back down. That's good. Okay, bringing them back down to where we need them. We're not going to be able to double stint these tires, though. That is not going to work. But you can see we're almost out of fuel. I mean, they definitely had plenty of wear for the fuel that we had on board, but it's just not going to work out for us. It doesn't look like. All right, so we're now... Yeah, I mean, things are going good longevity-wise for us, but unfortunately not going well for us on the other side of things. Although we are the final ones to make pit stops. I mean, you can see there's only 4 of us left on the track that have yet to make a pit stop. And I'm seeing tire temps that are way up. Okay, that's not good. So that makes me think I want to stay with the hard tire for that reason. All right, this time I'm going to go ahead and use Kurt as my second driver, and I'm going to stick with the hard tire just for tire heat reasons. Try to keep the tire heat down as low as I can and fill it up. Part condition should not be an issue. You can see the wing really wearing quite a bit. Okay, so double stinting was not something we could do, but let's see how things go in the pit stop. We need no mistakes. Okay, well, and there we go. So we got a mistake there. Okay, wow, that is a huge mistake. Good gracious alive. Yeah, that is not what we need at all. That is not going to help our opportunities to move forward in the race. Okay, so now we'll continue to watch. Now, thankfully, our tire temp is starting to come back down. I mean, we're in the green here as far as pushing the car, driver pushing the car, and we're still just trying to get it back down to mid-level. So I guess if we want to try to pull some good news out of all this is that we're not completely out of the ballpark on some of this, and we might be able to come out with one fewer pit stop. We can hope. So those are the things that we hope for in situations like this, whenever you have mistakes on pit road or even a driver mistake on the track that costs you quite a bit of time. So you hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So far we're getting the worst. All right, let's see how Romano is doing. Now for him, stamina will be an issue. Hopefully we timed it out pretty good with the tire and the fuel to be done at about the same time his stamina is done. Okay, he's having a good stint here. We're at 30 minutes. He's running low on stamina, now at about 35 minutes. So from that perspective, we're in good shape with him because I think he's going to get pretty close to that 45-minute threshold. Okay, so 20th and 23rd. So now you can see we got the one car behind us that has now had to make 2 pit stops. Okay, unfortunately tire heat has gotten a little bit too high on the hard tire even, so we're going to back off with it as well. You know it must be hot on that track whenever the hard tire is on the verge of overheating. But of course we are in the desert, so it does make sense. Okay, so now we're running out of fuel and tire, for that matter. We're out of stamina. We're out of everything on this car, but we made it to our 45-minute window, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and put in our third driver, and then we'll finish up the race if all goes well with going back to our number 1 driver. Okay, so soft tire. Wow, 18 to 20 laps. Yikes, that is definitely not good. That is really not good. He is terrible on tires. All right, so never mind. We're going to the medium tire. And the fuel options, we might as well fill it up if we're going to do that. But yikes, he is not good on tires. Okay, but Rico did his job. He got us the 45 minutes we needed and on the soft tire. You can see the grip is continuing to climb on the track. The tire heat continues to climb. All right, so now we've dropped down a little bit below halfway on the tire heat. Let's see what happens if we move back to neutral. Okay, we'll also look at car number 2 and see what happens there as well. Okay, pit stops look like they're beginning for the back part of the field, us being part of that. Okay, let's go back to car number 1. And you can see car number 1, we're about 9 seconds. So yeah, we're kind of boxed in here from that mistake on pit lane. All right, so far so good on our tire temps. Let's switch over to 2D. It's starting to develop a headache from the 3D right now. All right, so this will give us an opportunity. Okay, so I see 20th up ahead. So they're a short straightaway ahead of us. All right, and fuel is starting to wear down. Of course, we got plenty of tire left with the hard tire. And let's go ahead and push, see if we can get by with pushing a little bit, see if we can get a little bit more speed out of the car before, in these final few laps before we have to come in for our next pit stop. Okay, yeah, you can see it quickly heats up. So we're going to go back into our neutral mode. Trying to pick up any little bit of speed we can get. As we now see the pit stops really beginning. All right, so we're about 7 seconds or so out of a position. Okay, let's back. Again, trying to get everything I can get out of the fuel here. Trying to go as long as we possibly can. And so far, it's working. Okay, we're going to be very close to running out there if I'm not careful. Okay, so final stint. Actually, I think the medium tires could make it. We need about 56 minutes though, and that's a lot to ask. So I think I'm just going to stay on the hard tire. That is a lot to ask. So we're going to go ahead and fill it up. That should give us a little bit of extra fuel at the end of the race, but rather have a little bit extra than to run out. Okay, part condition looks good. All right, we should have just enough fuel as we come into the pits. Okay, everything completed so far and no issues. All right, good. That's what I want to see. All right, oh, my bad. I didn't look at car number 2 for a little bit, and the tires got a little bit toasty. So we'll see if we can bring those back down. It's harder to bring them down once you get them up that high. All right, so you can see after all the pit stops have been made, we're back down to earth, back down to 22nd. But it just makes you think, had we not had that mistake, we would be somewhere in this range. So we could have picked up a couple of spots without that mistake. And that's just me trying to get a feel for where we are speed-wise compared to the field. All right, so our hope, like right here, yeah, they had to come in for a pit stop. That just, let's see, we'll see who we think can make it to the end. They're not going to make it to the end. We've already got another car. It's not going to make it to the end. So we're going to pick up a few spots, I think. Yeah, these guys are not going to make it to the end without another pit stop. I know car number 2 for us is not going to make it to the end. Okay, let's try to cool these tires down a little bit. Okay, running low on stamina. So 37 minutes to go. And let's go ahead and see. What can we make it on these tires? So 36, not quite enough. I'd like to put on the soft tires for our final stint if I can. I'm not sure that the tire heat or anything will allow that, but at this point we might as well take the chance. Because we've really got no reason not to. Nothing to lose at this point. When you're running at the back of the field and running in last place a lot, hey, you might as well take some chances. Okay, so it's about time. Yep, I'm not going to quite make it as far as I wanted to. You can see we can't quite get to that level. But let's go ahead. We need to do our pit stop now, so we'll put Carolyn back in the car. And we're going to go ahead and do the soft tires. It should just make it if we can make it. All right, so 30 minutes, it's about 20. Give her a little bit extra fuel. Hopefully she doesn't run out. And all right, let's queue up that pit stop. Okay, we've got, looking at car number 1, we've got at least one other car that is reasonably within our reach if we have the speed to get to them. Okay, you can see our driver complaining about that very thing. All right, everybody in front of us at this point, I believe, can make it on tires. Now, of course, I have no idea about their fuel, but I would imagine that their fuel will be perfectly fine as well. All right, we made that pass. We're up to 19th, and I think it's about as far as we can get. We're about 17 seconds out of 18th. All right, we're back to the back of the field here. So yeah, this just not going to work out. We need some more speed before we can even think about picking up any sizable amount of time on the track. All right, oh, we do have a pit stop. Looks like they needed to make some repairs. That's good for us. And if we can move up one more, that would be even better. So we got about 16 minutes left. Hopefully somebody up in the top 5 here will need to make another pit stop. That would really, really help us out. All right, tire temps going back up. Let's see, trying to keep these tire temps a little bit lower. I don't want to push the issue too much with Anderson because we already know that she is going to be pressing her luck with the tires anyway. All right, so 10 minutes left in the race, and somehow everybody else has made a pit stop at the front except for us and looks like Walner. I'm not sure how that happened, but we're going to take it. And let's see, we got one car right behind us. Looks like, oh yeah, they definitely got the speed on us. But if we can hang in here, let's go ahead and push a little bit here and give ourselves hopefully a shot at this. At least keeping where we are, because we're in podium position right now. So I'm not sure why these guys needed to pit, but they did, and we will take it. All right, you can see the speed. I mean, look at these guys just gaining on us. Kind of disheartening to look at. All right, so Carolyn on the driving time is, all right, she's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine as we're in the last minute. And so we did it. Wow. Now, to give you an idea of the difference here. If we're on the same pit cycle with the rest of the field, then we have no shot, because that means you're trying to compete on speed. We only made 2 pit stops by having each of our drivers run roughly an hour, and we were able to hold them off. So the hard tire strategy did indeed end up working out for us, and I think a lot of that had to do with the tire heat. But even more than that, the guys at the front pitted for some reason. I can only assume at this point, because I didn't see any accidents or anything like that, I can only assume that all of that was due to repairs that they needed to make. That's the only thing I can assume at this point. But there we are. Podium finish. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We will take it. Doesn't matter how we got there, we'll take it. All right, let's go ahead and move through the final few screens. And hopefully everything loads up just fine, because I don't have a save right now. So, we get a pause there. Every time it pauses, I think that we're going to get an issue. So driver form, look at that. Very bad. Very bad. 1.6. I don't think I've seen anybody get even close to that kind of low level. All right, so we really need this team marketability. I mean, it's going up extremely slowly. Way too slow for what we need. We came in 4th overall as a team, and of course our expectation is to finish last. All right, we got a driver trait here. Oh, I hate it when it does this. So we got a dodgy neck, which means their fitness is not as good. Okay, so we'll have to deal with that. You can see the fitness going way down. Way down. All right, so we'll have to deal with that over the next race. And here we go. We lost 1.26 million, which was a little bit less this time because the race was in America as opposed to being somewhere else. So our costs were a little bit less for traveling and that sort of thing. All right, so we are effectively out of money for our next race. We don't have enough money to make it. You can see below $1 million now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We may be on the chopping block here very soon, but of course that will be coming up in future videos. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Motorsport Manager.